Hello, this is Kaki Lee, and welcome to the Abundant Goddess Show, where I'll be sharing daily, bite-sized pearls of wisdom I've picked up along my life journey that has allowed me to embrace and unleash my inner abundant goddess. And that's exactly what I want for you, to embrace and unleash your inner abundant goddess. I love talking about anything and everything to do with life, but I especially love talking about money, mindset, and energy, which is the main focus here. If you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe to my show so you don't miss out on your daily dose of wisdom from myself. And also follow me and let me know what you think on Facebook and Instagram at Abundance with Kaki Lee. Now let's get into it. Welcome to the Abundant Goddess Show. Today's pearl of wisdom is Your Story Matters. Why I'm talking about this particular topic tonight is because I am shamelessly plugging my new multi-author book, the birth of my multi-author book, The Awakened Feminine: Stories of Women Awakening to Who They Truly Are. I just announced it on social media, and I am just really, really, really excited about this project because I'm calling in all the women who have a story to share. What I've learned, especially in the last 2 years, especially since I've started my podcast, The Awakened Feminine, is that every single person has a story to share. And there is so much wisdom from every person's story that those who are listening to the story can learn from and absorb and embody for their own journeys of transformation and awakening. Or they can see that there are parallels, there are so many similarities in their stories, or there might be living lives that are so different, but then you go, oh, actually we are all very much the same. We all really want the same thing, and that is really to awaken to who we truly are, who we are as humans. Most of us don't go through our lives not knowing who we are, not knowing what we like, not knowing what we want to do with our lives. And once you have that transformation, that awakening, it is so beautiful. And to be able to share it with others so that people that haven't quite awakened or just starting the awakening journey can learn from you, it's beautiful. And knowing that your story matters, every single story matters, because even if you impact or help one person, that's one person's life who is better because of you. So I'm very passionate about this. And when I started my podcast, for those who don't know how I started my Awakened Feminine podcast, I just had this massive message from the universe. It was like someone shouting in my ear, shouting in my ear. Oh my gosh, I can't say the word ear. To start a podcast at a time when having a podcast was like not even on my list of things to do. And so I listened, I followed the message, I listened to the message and started my podcast. And what I found is I get to interact and connect with beautiful women and men. I've interviewed men as well, who have so much love and wisdom to share, so much wisdom from their journey. And all they want to do when they're sharing is to embrace you with their love, because they've been there and they now want to share that wisdom with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that they did, or so that they can give the tools that have allowed them to get to the other side. And doing podcasts is fantastic. I love doing my podcast. And this year for me, I went into the author world where the story sharing is in a book. And for me, I found it even more powerful, sharing a story in written form where the words flow from you. And, sometimes when you're on a podcast, I think you might not be prepared for all the questions, or you might not answer it in the way that you wanted to at that time. But when you're writing your story, yes, you can edit it, but you know exactly what you want to write. and it's structured in that perfect way for you. And it's also such a cathartic and a healing experience. I just can't even put it into words, but when you write your story, you are also healing in the process. It may feel like that you've already done all the healing and all the transformation, but when you reread those words, it's like, oh, wow, that's, you have another set of healing come through. It's like you're announcing to the universe, it's like, I'm ready to just let this all go. It can be, this is my gift to all the people that are going to read my story. This is my wisdom. This is my love for everyone that's reading it. It's like another release of whatever, that pain or suffering that you might have had to go through to get to, where you are now. So, and then the people reading it is like, wow, this is exactly what I'm going through, or this is so similar to what I'm going through. There's always gold nuggets in every single story. And especially in a multi-author book, maybe you don't resonate with one story, but you resonate with 2 or 3 or 10 of the stories. There's always something to learn. So I just really believe if you have lived a life, share your story, because there are people waiting to hear your love and wisdom. And it just makes me like, oh, I'm getting a bit emotional. Just so happy to provide a platform on my podcast to share the love and wisdom of women and the men that I have interviewed, and now to birth this book where I can do this in even more, I think, impactful way. It just makes me just so happy, and I don't even know what the word is. I just can't think at the moment of the word, but it just fills my heart, and it just expands my heart so much to be able to do this and offer this opportunity for any women who want to share their story. If you're a coach, a professional, a healer, if you've had a journey, it doesn't matter like who you are, I would love to be able to help you share your story in a book, written in a book. It's a legacy that you're leaving. It's such a beautiful experience. Yeah, I highly recommend it. I've done 2, and now this is the 3rd one, number 3, and I love the number 3 as well. And that's the birth of my book. Actually, number 3 in Chinese means birth. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I just realized that 3, San is like, it sounds like birth, San. So it's number 3. I'm birthing a book, and it's my third book. So I'm excited. If you if you have a story to share and this message of the awakened feminine calls out to you, message me on Facebook or Instagram, or email me, whatever it is. Just contact me and we can have a chat, and I can give you all the details then. But I want you to know, whether you want to share your story with me or like on podcast or wherever, it's important to know that your story matters, and there are people that want to hear your story. Don't be afraid to share it. Don't be afraid to be seen, to be heard. For me, that was a big thing, because I was so afraid of being seen, being heard. And starting a podcast was like a massive, massive thing for me, because I just always wanted to be in the background. And now I'm like, hey, this is me. And to be honest, I'm still working on it. There are still parts of me that just want to hide and not be seen and be heard. So as I keep doing these things, it helps me to become more seen and more heard and more felt by the people that are meant to be in my field, to be in my embrace, my loving embrace, energetically or physically, whatever that is. But I want to remind you, your story matters. And if you have a story that you want to share and you're too scared, don't be scared. Share it, because someone is waiting to listen to your story. And that's the end of the show. Please share the episode with anyone that needs a reminder that their story matters. If you liked what you heard, make sure you subscribe to my show and remember to follow me over at Facebook and Instagram at Abundance with Kaki Lee to connect with me there and let me know what you think of the episode. Also, if you're interested in working with me or learning from me or being in my book, send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram or email me at hello@kakilee.com.